Welcome to POSTCAST. The Utah Jazz use a fourth-quarter surge to blow past the Washington Wizards on a night where Collin Sexton returns. Walker Kessler's career high in minutes, and Malik Beasley shows some versatility. It's all coming up on tonight's edition of POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone as the Utah Jazz beat the Washington Wizards 120-112 in a game that once the Jazz kind of took over in the fourth quarter was never in doubt tonight, as the Jazz and the Wizards went to the fourth quarter at 93-90 as the score, but the Jazz burst ahead, outscoring the Wizards 27-22, led by as many as 16 in the fourth as they really put it on. And Ron, you opened up the fourth quarter and said, hey, let's see if we can separate from them. How did they separate in that fourth quarter?
Well, they started to make some shots, and again, Beasley was unbelievable. I'm trying to see what he did in that fourth quarter, but he was unbelievable. Marketing was marketing for the most part, but anytime you're making shots and you're giving yourself a chance to win. I say that, David, because hey, the Washington Wizards shot the basketball very well as well. For the night, 56%, but they don't make three-point shots. They only took 21, only made 7. On the other hand, the Jazz at 35 and 16. One thing, though, and probably need you to check here, is this a low for the Jazz as far as assists is concerned? Because if that's the case, we had a lot of individual efforts tonight.
Interesting, only 16 assists tonight. 18? Yeah. So that's 16 assists tonight. It's interesting, the things that jump out to me, Ron, are the things that, as I talked about in the broadcast, didn't happen tonight. So, yeah, they shoot 56%, but they only get 3 offensive rebounds the entire game. The Jazz this year are an average team at defending the shot. They're an average team at forcing turnovers. They're an average team at not fouling. They're one of the worst teams in the league at not defensive rebounding. So here tonight, they added defensive rebounding to the mix. And if they can actually become an average defensive rebounding team, they'll become an average defensive team. The thing that is making them the 27th ranked defense in the NBA right now is the fact that they don't rebound. They're 18th against the shot, 17th turnover forcing, 17th in not fouling. If you could be 17th in defensive rebounding also, you're an average defense. That's it. Like, you're average in all four factors, you'll be an average defense. Tonight they were elite defensive rebound. That's a big step for this team.
So David, for our listeners to understand, if you're an average team, that makes you, if you're an average in all those categories, that makes you an average team. So the only thing that can happen, you have nights when you go up.
Yeah.
That's what win basketball games.
Well, if you can be the 4th-ranked offensive team in the NBA and an average defense, you win a lot of games.
Exactly. I think they're averaging offensive rebounds somewhere around 12 or 13 offensive rebounds a ball game, largely because of the way Kessler has been able to, and Vanderbilt for the most part.
Interestingly, the key thing on this, if you want to get into it, we'll get back to the game quickly. The key thing is you got to defend the shot, right? So but the Jazz are actually pretty good at that. They're 18th. On offense, key things you got to make the shots, right? They're the 7th best shooting team. Jazz are bad at turning it over. They're bad at going to the free throw line, but they're really, really good at offensive rebounding and really, really good at shooting, and that's made them the 4th best offense in the NBA. So you can be elite at if you're elite at one of these two things, you can really cover up for some errors. If you're just average at everything, then you're average. But if the Jazz could be average defensively, that would be a big deal. And this leads to the 32 minutes of Walker Kessler tonight. Did Walker Kessler's 32 minutes the reason why the Utah Jazz were able to defend tonight and why the Jazz were able to get defensive rebounds? And if that's the case, can they be an average defensive team if Walker Kessler plays this?
I don't think there's any doubt. And for the most part, that just has to get better. The only problem I have is when he's on the floor. Like tonight, it was a drop big with him. The mid-range game was definitely there for the Wizards, and that created a problem. Great field goal percentage and some great shooting by the Wizards early in the ball game, but sooner or later they wear you down, and Kessler was able to do that, come up also with his rebounds. He had a pretty good night.
The other one is that Bradley Beal did not go to the free throw line night. He had taken 28 free throws in the last 2 games. He only took 4 all night, and they were all in the fourth quarter. So in that sense, I really think that's also the drop big generally prevents you from going to the free throw line. That's, the Jazz were always elite with Rudy not fouling. Walker Kessler allows you to do that. So 2 of the things the Jazz did best tonight, I think, stem back to the fact that Walker Kessler got an extended run at center tonight. 32
minutes.
And a good matchup, right? Yeah. No Kristaps Porzingis tonight allowed that to happen, and Daniel Gafford is not an elite center who tonight, for whatever reason, only played 19 minutes. He was kind of dominating the game. They took him out. And then Taj Gibson played 25 minutes. So kind of a weird use of minutes by Washington from the game I was watching. That's about as soft a center matchup as you can get, and so Will Hardy rolled him out there for 32.
Yeah. Kind of a fun ball game. As you mentioned, so many lead changes in the game. What ended up with 23, and here I was thinking, oh boy, that got to be close to a record. And you said it's 40.
40 lead changes.
40 lead changes in the game. That had to be.
And we didn't have many in the fourth quarter as the Jazz took over and ended those lead changes. We had, I think, 16 in the first 18 minutes tonight. We had Malik Beasley on postgame. I thought it was really interesting. He took 17 shots tonight, only 7 of them threes. And I asked him, he said, well, I was trying to play downhill. I've been getting a lot of threes off. Teams are running me off the three-point line right now. And so I've tried to expand my game and play more going to the basket and get to the free throw line a little bit.
Yeah. You don't want to be labeled. I think it's okay to be labeled as he's a great three-point shooter, but don't be labeled as just a three-point shooter. And that was something that Markkanen had to go through there as well and prove that he can get to the basket and put the ball on the floor. He could run the break, that type of thing. And it's great to hear guys realize what teams are trying to do to them and try to take advantage of what they're not doing.
There was a definite burst of energy that flew into the game 3 minutes into the game tonight, and his name is Collin
number 2, right?
Sexton. What did you see out of Collin Sexton tonight?
I thought he was the difference in that first half, or at least in that first quarter, because the Wizards was on fire. I mean, Kuzma was knocking him down. He ended up with 10 points in that first quarter, and I thought when Collin Sexton came in, it kind of neutralized the effort that Kuzma was doing out there on the floor, and it was good for Collin because it got himself going.
And he played off the ball a lot tonight with Alexander Walker handling, with Conley handling, and he looked, if he can get the ball with an advantage, his burst to the basket is just awesome.
We're paying a little attention to that tonight, David, and that first step, he's awfully quick and he gets it, but he's finishing with big guys trying to block his shot. I know early in the year he was trying to do that, and he was jumping off both feet, getting himself caught, some contact, and then maybe getting the shot blocked. Tonight I saw him go off one leg, and sometimes that's much quicker because it keeps the defender from catching up and challenging his shot. But that first step is awfully quick.
He did have a funny game tonight, by the way, in which his first 3 field goals, none of them went in.
Right,
they were all goaltending along the way. One plus-minus number that's worth mentioning, just got mentioned in the chat as well. Nickeil Alexander-Walker tonight, I thought was, if I saw it right, was plus 24 in tonight's game in 21 minutes. I'm not the hugest believer in individual game plus-minus, but if it's that big, let's at least signal it out. There was something he was doing right. He had 4 rebounds. He went 3 of 6 tonight. Went 2 of 2 from 3 again. Last 5 games, he's shooting 55% from the field and 41% from 3, and he continued to have a good night there.
Yeah, 4 assists, but defense is always pretty good because he is long, does move his feet very well, and I think because of the way the game was played, Will played 9 guys.
He did.
9 guys, not counting garbage time.
Yeah, 9-man rotation night. Yeah. Isn't that kind of what we've done all year long?
No, I thought, well, you can't say that because Tucker would get in for a long period of time, sometimes. So that's 10 guys. And so,
I guess if Kelly's back, we're probably going to have to play 10 if Rudy Gay stays in the rotation.
Right, exactly.
So if Rudy Gay stays in the rotation, then you're going to have to figure out a way to play 10 once Kelly comes back. Jazz, as Ron pointed out, only had 16 assists tonight, so it'll be interesting to see to look back. And it didn't feel like we had a lot of one-on-one non-ball movement action, but maybe a little bit more than Ron and I noticed as I was calling the game tonight. All right, home court, Jazz have won 6 of 8 now at home. Lowry Markkanen, he was 7 of 14. He had 21 points. He's 4 of 9 from 3 tonight. He actually missed his last 4 3-point attempts tonight, so he's an off night shooting from 3 because he only shot 44%. He's been shooting like 56% from 3 since the end of November. It's kind of crazy. Where are your 2 stars going tonight, Mr. Boone?
It has to be Sexton, obviously. That burst that he got, that energy level that he gave the Jazz in that first half, kept them in the ball game, kept them close to the point where they ended up winning it. And then Beasley. off the bench. The bench points have not been there without Collin Sexton. So I'm going with Beasley and Collin Sexton. And you can have whoever you're frowning up about. Who do you think?
Walker Kessler and Collin Sexton would have been my call.
Well, good for you. I'm going with
That's
Beasley.
the holiday spirit right
I'm
there.
going with Beasley and Sexton.
All right, you guys can vote. Blake says that Ron and you are on the same page, but RR says he's with me. And Forrest G says he doesn't believe in Kessler tonight.
Doesn't believe in Kessler.
Yeah, he says, Locke, I disagree with you. Not Kessler tonight. Really? Not Kessler tonight.
He had a great night. 5
Let's
for 7
go-
at
let's
32
go look
minutes,
at
14
Kessler.
rebounds, 5 of them coming on the offensive
When it
glass.
comes out, let's go look at Kessler's defensive rating tonight when this night is over. And I'm going to feel really good about this choice.
Boy, and then you can go back and look at Beasley's offensive rating there as well, and I'm going to feel awfully good about my pick.
Happy holidays, everyone. Have a good one.